After learning about the Ottoman and the Safavid empires, the last empire we will learn about from the Gunpowder Empires today is the Mughals. The Mughals were Muslims who descended from Turks, Afghans, and Mongols living in Central Asia. If you look at the map, you can see that the Mughal Empire is largely what we know as India today. Like the Ottomans and Safavids, the Mughals built a powerful army with guns and cannons. You can see their pictures of cannons and their elephant in armor. In 1494, Babur became king of the Mughals, expanded the army, and began invasions into India to create his empire. If you look at the map, you can see the darker yellow is where Babur was ruling, and the arrow points down to where he was attacking and expanding the empire. In 1556, Babur's grandson Akbar became king of the Mughal Empire and expanded the empire into almost all of India. Akbar was the greatest of all the Mughal rulers. Akbar's greatest achievement was cultural blending and religious toleration, meaning he allowed people to practice whatever religion they saw fit, and he allowed cultures to blend together, bringing parts of their own culture to contribute into a cultural diffusion or mixture of cultures. He held religious discussions with Hindu and Muslim scholars. He ended the jizya, which was a tax on non-Muslims. So if you were a non-Muslim in India at this time, you had to pay a tax for practicing whatever religion you were practicing. He also created a fair and affordable tax system. Because he was a Muslim ruling in a largely Hindu region, Akbar allowed non-Muslims to worship freely. This was probably super tactical because if he didn't allow this, then the Hindu probably would have banded together and revolted against him. He married many wives. He didn't have no type. Among them were Muslims, Hindu, and Christian women. The best example of Akbar's tolerance was his creation of a new religion called the Divine Faith. The Divine Faith was an example of syncretism because it blended ideas from Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism. So he was trying to create this new religion where everybody could come to an agreement and practice. And this was part of his talks that he was having between Muslims and Hindu. He thought to himself, well, we can all practice religion together. So Akbar hoped the divine faith would end conflicts between the Muslims and Hindus, but divine faith never attracted many Muslim or Hindu converts. When Akbar died, so did the divine faith. So when he died, this faith did not continue. During Akbar's reign, art flourished. Mughal artists were known for their colorful paintings, often called miniatures. Mughal architecture was known for blending Hindu and Islamic designs. The greatest example of this, of the Mughal architecture, is the Taj Mahal, which was built in 1631 by Shah Jahan. So how did the Mughal Empire end? How did it decline? The Mughal Empire grew weak by 1700 as kings spent too much money on palaces and war. Now, this is super different from the Safavid and Ottoman empires because the kings were not killing their sons and brothers to try to maintain power, but they were spending their money on lavish things. They wanted the nice things, so they spent too much money. In addition to large populations of Hindus in India beginning to revolt against their Muslim leaders. So remember, the leader was Muslim, but most of the population in India at this time practiced Hinduism. So they didn't believe somebody should be leading them that didn't have their beliefs. So they started to revolt against their leadership. And then the British East India Company, known today as Lipton, yes, it is the same Lipton that makes tea, took advantage. They slowly conquered India. They knew that there was conflict going on there, and they knew that there were resources there that they wanted to get a hold of. So they slowly conquered India, and the British government took direct control in 1858 after what we call the Sepoy Mutiny, which was India, basically the people who lived there fighting back against the British to try to maintain control of their region. Unfortunately, they lost. So the Ottomans, Safavids, and Mughals built large Islamic empires using gunpowder militaries. These empires provided new contributions in law, art, and religion, but their decline by the 1800s allowed newly industrialized European nations to dominate Asia. So industrialization played a large role in the downfall of the gunpowder empires.